Now gather round, children. Well, gather to a legally acceptable distance, and hear the tale of how when I met a duck at the duck store. Well, it's not at a store that sells ducks or is for ducks, but I call the story the Duck Store. Our story begins like many other stories, at the store, except this quarry of a story has a twist that's gory. My spaghetti rations had run dry, and I had a bad case of the marinara rumbles, so I got in a car and drove to the store to settle the spaghetto once and for all. Ah, the store. It was for sure on my top 10 list of buildings that might be stores. I took a deep whiff of that savory store smell, the sensation dancing on my nose hairs. This was the place. I made my way past the many treacherous obstacles laid before me, each one more treacherous and obstacle-y than the last. By the time I made it to the big spaghetti aisle, I had barely any energy to lift my disgusting hand off the ground. After having a little pick-me-up snack that I found, I felt strong enough to defeat the Dragon Lord from the titular game Dragon Quest. I squeezed a big squeeze of noodles off the shelf, loose just how I like 'em, and I balanced the sauce in my other hand. No room for a giant living pat of butter, I thought, as I made my way back to the entrance from whence I came. As I creepily tiptoed past the canned food aisle, something oddly duck-shaped and abnormally duck-like caught my vision. Oh, a duck. Well, then everything I observed makes perfect sense. But one thing doesn't quite add up. This is the canned foods aisle. What would a perfectly uncanned, unfood duck be doing in an aisle like this? I tried to walk past him, but my crippling fear of ducks stops me. Could this be it? Will I be stuck in this store forever? Then out of the corner of my eye, as if by a miracle, I spot a can. Instantly, an electric impulse is sent from my brain to my central nervous system, down into my arm, signaling the muscles to contract in such a way that I might grab this can. Now that I have the can, what do I do with it? Aha! I throw the can as hard as I can at the duck, and it fucking explodes. Nah, not for real. But instead, the can explodes, and the garlic is everywhere. It was canned garlic. I was all, clean up on aisle garlic. But the duck, on the other hand, was all, I guess I'm gonna start eating up all this garlic up into my mouth. And apparently garlic is poison to ducks, and he throws up and dies. I was free, but then I spot a nearly invisible collar and a leash that was actually there the entire time. Just around the corner, there was a person walking this duck. Not just a person, but a blind person who couldn't see. This duck, who I so callously threw that canned garlic at, was a seeing eye duck. And not only was he a seeing eye duck, he wasn't even a duck, it was a dog this whole time. They didn't ever catch me for that one, though. But they did bust me for... Well, that's your story for another time. Ding!